This assessment, only 4 questions. To me, that's all you need. I don't need 10 questions of a clip to say for my students to prove to me that they understood it or not. For our first example assessment, we're going to look at an announcement, a listening assessment where the student listens to a very short clip and they don't have to respond to it. They simply have to interpret it and show that they interpreted it by answering a few questions, whether multiple choice or open-ended. All right, so here we have listening assessment 1, announcements. I use the exact same audio file for all 4 of these questions. Let's see how it goes. So I click in. Where you might want to hear this announcement. Let's listen to the announcement.
本次列车终点站虹桥火车站，下一站豫园，开左边门。
Right, so this is the clip that the students will hear each time they do this assessment. It's the exact same clip for all 4 questions. This is where you might want to hear this announcement. I'm not going to give away the answer, but the student can show linguistic awareness by saying, okay, yeah, I know where I would probably hear this announcement. You would hear this on TV, you would hear this on a train, you would hear this at an airport, you would hear this at school. If they know and they understand the content, they're going to be able to tell you, hey, it's most likely heard in this location. So that's one, the first question that asks for linguistic awareness. The second question, again, exact same piece of information. Here it kind of gives away the answer to the first question. That's okay. Which piece of information is not provided in this clip? The time the train will arrive, which side the doors will open, the next stop, or the last stop. And here, again, the student has to show what they understood about this question, right? What they understood, whether words or phrases, they have to understand the entire clip and say, yeah, I heard this, I heard which side the doors will open, I heard the next stop, and I heard the last stop. Or they can choose, okay, which one was not provided. Again, this is all about what did the student hear and what was the student able to make out of this clip that they heard. Yeah, I heard this, yeah, I did not hear that. So that's the second question. Third question in this type of assessment involves which of the following phrases was mentioned in the announcement. This one's a little bit unique here. You see here I have 5 different phrases in Chinese that the student can select from, right? And here, what this comes down to is, again, for me, it's important because my students, Chinese doesn't have letters. You have to know what the characters are in order to read it. Of course, you could do this with languages that use a typical alphabet. But again, the student has to be able to identify, yeah, I heard that phrase and I can select it here. This is simply just hearing something and matching it to what is listed. Okay, so that's some linguistic awareness as well. And then finally, number 4 allows us a pretty unique question type. And I like these questions because they're a bit different from what students normally deal with, but it's still a listening assessment. There's listening on both sides now. So I'm going to play the original announcement.
本次列车终点站虹桥火车站，下一站豫园，开左边门。
So then, the student, you give the student options. You say, hey, what would be an appropriate response to this? Again, does the student understand the announcement? Well, tell me if you understand these clips as well.
他几点要来？
Okay.
小心，火车很快。豫园，我们这里要下车吧。他是老人，你应该让座吧。
Okay, so all 4 different options in Chinese for the student to say, yeah, this would be the logical response to this announcement. So again, comprehension of the announcement in the first place and comprehension and situational awareness of these choices over here to choose the correct response. So that's our first example. Again, just listening to a short response. The last thing that I'll add to this is notice this assessment, only 4 questions. To me, that's all you need. I don't need 10 questions of a clip to say for my students to prove to me that they understood it or not. 4 questions, that's all you need. Keep it simple, but keep it detailed at the same time to the point where you know you're asking questions that, yeah, this is really going to prove that the student understood, or this question might be a little bit too easy. So think about that. Feel free to use this as a template, and we'll move on to the next one.